Listening as a missionary is one of the most important things that you can do. As you start off as a missionary, you feel like you need to talk a lot. But as you gain experience, you learn that you can ask inspired questions and then just sit back and listen to people speak. And as you do so, you listen to what they say, and you also listen to what the Spirit says, so that you will be able to answer them in the way that will help them understand the gospel and allow them to progress.
I was on exchanges with the assistants. We did this role play, and in the middle of it, the assistant just told me just to stop where I'm at. He was kind of brutal about it, just told me it wasn't great. And he just told me to stop everything, like just stop and listen to him instead of just teaching him, just to stop and listen. And so I took a minute to myself just to kind of prepare and everything, and started the role play. And immediately the Spirit was so strong, like probably more than I felt anywhere else in my mission. And from that point on, one of my biggest priorities was just listening, whether it was with my companion, the Spirit, the people I'm teaching, members, whoever it is. Like, I'm listening to them before I start talking.
In my mission, I had a lot of companions that would tell me that I contacted or that I taught too slowly. But for me, I felt like if we would ask somebody a powerful question and we just take a moment to kind of look inside ourselves, look for the Spirit, and ask ourselves what we were supposed to say next. I feel like the Spirit is so much more willing to testify to us and to inspire us so that we can know what to say and what specific instruction that person needs.
Some really important things about listening, I think, are validating. That's something that a lot of people, don't necessarily learn. But when you're listening to someone, telling them, if they're going through something, one thing, telling them that, oh yeah, well, I had this one time where I went through something like that. And even though that might be trying to reach out and help them, what's usually better is to say something like, dang, I'm so sorry. Maybe ask some follow-up questions. Sometimes too, when people say what they feel, and I've had to learn this too, but sometimes people are like, oh, this person or this thing just frustrates me so much. And I would just be like, well, but maybe they had this perspective or something like that. Well, sometimes there's a good time for that. Sometimes, a lot of times validating, just being like, yeah, I get that, is a lot better way to listen, and that really builds a relationship.
Sometimes you'll be in somebody's house and they'll just be talking forever and ever and ever and ever. And I think like something that has helped me is like focusing your thoughts on them and not letting your thoughts like differ, but also like trying to be alert with like who you're talking to, because it's so easy to like get distracted or to like want to say like your opinion. But a lot of times, like, especially like if somebody's like bashing you on the street, they really just want to be heard.
I always really kind of struggled with listening. And when I first got to Ecuador, I was speaking Spanish, and you really had to listen to be able to pick up the words that they were saying. Sometimes I'd just be kind of sitting there, and I'd kind of zone out a little bit, and I wouldn't know how to keep the lesson going. And I feel like listening is so important, because what you're doing is you're teaching people and you're not teaching the lessons. So when you are listening, you get to hear what they have to say, and you could steer your lesson towards them and what they need to hear at that time.
So I think one of the biggest tips when it comes to listening and understanding the person is really putting yourselves in their eyes and in their hearts. One of the things that you can really do is just kind of pray for the Spirit to show your heart to theirs and their heart to yours.